Here we are in Bangkok, Thailand, afternoon. What is today? Wednesday. And I'm
24th of January.
24th of January. This is Marcus, me, and we're going to talk about something, do a podcast here. So what would be the first thing we question about? Okay. Now that you are a Nidan, how do you feel?
Oh, it feels slightly different than before.
Before Shodan?
Yes, but for sure it feels much different than before Shodan. But from Shodan to Nidan, I think it's more the spiritual Aikido that makes the difference.
Well, yeah, getting to Shodan is the technical part, and as you go up to Sandan and Yondan, I think it gets more, the word they use in America now, internal, but the spiritual side. But yeah, there's so much still out there. We have, of course, Nishio Ryu, so we are doing Taijutsu and Kumitachi, Boken and Jo, Ken Tabiki, Jo Tabiki, and we have about 25 Toho katas that we do. So, anyway, what's another question? Your EI. How do you feel when you're doing EI?
Well, the story is that once I had my Shodan and then I had to leave Bangkok because COVID came, and then I haven't been doing a lot of Aikido maybe for 3 years. I was just watching something sometimes and trying to remember a little bit the forms, but of course I did not have a sword at home. So I was actually quite surprised that when I came back, I kind of my body remembers what to do. It's not that I remember exactly like the sequences and things in my mind, but once I've done it one time, it just comes back, and without to think too much.
Luckily, we have 5 different iaitos, and they're all different weights, so I have weight for different people, and the length of the sword is different between my sword and his sword. So it makes a big difference when you have the proper weight and the proper length of a sword. Hopefully we will go to Japan this year in September to see our sensei, Aruse sensei, Takao Aruse sensei, who just made Hashidan. Yeah. So we're going to go see him probably in September. But yes, I believe the more you do it with EI, the more focused you get. It's really hard when you're first doing it, the first half hour or so. You seem to be, you can't control the sword as much as you want. But I think that if you do EI consistently, within 20 minutes, you and the sword will do a little bit better together. You'll be moving together, and you can hold and move it better. But it's kind of like doing your exercises before class. You limber up, you got to get loose, and when you first, regardless of the day or the mood you're in, when you first start doing your sword work, you're a bit stiff, and you need to get past that. So how long have you been with me now? 7 years? 8 years?
Oh, I think
counting
it must be
COVID?
10 years now.
Yeah, counting COVID,
or
yeah.
even more.
Maybe, yeah.
No, probably 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
A bit.
And what I always feel with the sword is that it really helps a lot on the technical side, and I really believe that the Aikido on the mat becomes much better if you can practice some sword work, because it's all related, and that's what I like so much with the Nishio approach, because everything is based on the sword work. So it really makes sense. And once you see the movements doing by the sword, you somehow can make the connection between this and the Aikido you do on the mat. And this you don't have in other school, in Aikikai. You don't see that if you don't do sword.
Well, I was so fortunate when I was dragged out of Homebrew Dojo to Nishio, his dojo, and to meet him and train with him. And it was an eye-opener. I mean, it was a complete different universe than what I'd been training, although I've been doing Aikido a long time. But I believe he says it, and Aruse Sensei says it, they all say it, his people say it, that if you really want to enhance yourself with Aikido and get really good at the art, you have to do sword work. It's necessary. And the katas that Sensei picked connect with several of the techniques like Ikkyo and Nikkyo and Sankyo, Shihonage, especially Riminage. It really helps me a lot. We normally do sword work at the end of class, but I think if I did it at the beginning, I might be better at my taijutsu, because you really learn to relax when you're holding the sword after a period of time. It really helps your footwork. You don't over move, you know, basically the best word I can think of, because most people in the beginning of class, it was like the son of O Sensei said, that you do your best Aikido in the last few minutes of class, because you're tired and you don't waste energy anymore, and you've got the movements down better. And I believe it's true.
Yeah, it's actually this Taoist principle of Wu Wei. You know, Wu Wei is like letting things happen in a flow without much effort. Like the nature is moving, and this is what actually the sword is doing. Because of its gravity and the shape how it is, it's leading your movement, and it's not you who try to force something into a kind of a direction that need to be corrected, because it's the sword, the weight of the sword that corrects
Well, you know, it's interesting because your energy goes through your hands. So when your hands are holding the sword, you know, depending on your mood or your stress, then the sword will turn a little bit or move a little bit, and when you do that, you're off. And every now and then when you hear the sound of the sword going through the air, you go, wow, my sword was in the right position. But it takes a long time to get that feeling. You know, there's this feeling when you, well, we don't really say bonding with the sword, but kind of like that feeling, you know. So I agree. And the more strength you put into it, the weaker you get, the more mistakes you make. You need to, like the Japanese say, ki no nagare, the flow of ki in the river. You and the sword work together, but for a long time I noticed the new students, it's a battle between them and the sword, you know. So, but once you've been doing it, it's really satisfying, I find, to do. You remember the katas first of all, and then you have certain ones you like more than others, and then you get better at those the same way with Aikido techniques. So everybody has a particular kata they like, and so I don't know. There are several I like, but number one is the first one that people have the most difficulty with, because it's several steps, and the more you step, you know, your body's shifting. But yeah, luckily we do it. I wish we did it every day, but we only do it twice a week. But I've just given him a blade to take back to France so that he has a big farm there, so he can teach all the animals in the wilderness. They'll see the sword moving and they'll come to the sound.
Exactly. Cheers.
Cheers. So yeah. So you'll be back October, maybe?
Yeah, October, pretty sure. Hopefully.
We're planning September in Japan. We're planning, but it's been so difficult the last few years with COVID and everything. But I haven't been to Japan for now. It's 4 years now, maybe 5. So I'm looking forward to it. And, so yeah. Okay. Okay. Till next time. Till it again.